Well, in KARE 11's sit-down interview yesterday with Minneapolis Police Federation President Bob Kroll, we learned that the police union will not be fighting the firing of former officer Derek Chauvin after the death of George Floyd.
Should Officer Chauvin have been fired for what he did?
Sure.
Yes.
And we're not appealing his termination.
Should the other officers have been fired?
Again, I think Rich answered that. We need more information. We would like to see what else is out there, and it's an issue of due process.
As of now, the union opposes the firing of the other officers, the other three officers, which means an arbitrator will likely decide if their termination sticks. KARE 11's Lou Raguse dives deeper into the issue of arbitration and the effect it has on police reform.
The police union no longer supports former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. However, his legal defense for the criminal case will still be covered by the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association because MPD is a member in good standing.
Any critical incident, they are covered by the Legal Defense Fund, and then any criminal charge that they could potentially be charged with, we provide representation.
That includes the three other officers fired along with Chauvin, but their criminal cases are separate from their labor cases. And when it comes to the firings, the union indicates so far it's supporting the three other officers, meaning it could likely go before an arbitrator. The arbitrator has the ability to overturn firings and lessen discipline at work.
Arbitrators usually give deference to police officers.
Attorney Phyllis Karasov, chair of the Labor and Employment Practice Group, believes arbitrators find it difficult to second guess how an officer acts in a dangerous situation.
It's natural that a lot of arbitrators are just going to say, I'm going to take the police officer's version.
Would it be fair or unfair then to say that arbitrators tend to side with police?
I think that's unfair.
Attorney Mark Schneider, who represents police, points to stats that show arbitrators since 2006 have sided with the administration 55% of the time, overturning a firing in 45% of cases. But critics, including Minneapolis Police Chief Madera Arredondo, believes that number should be lower. I've been talking about this issue with Minneapolis police officers, and one aspect they point out to me is the importance of the internal investigation. A poor internal investigation could lead to the arbitrator siding with the officer, even in cases people see as egregious. So they think the chief should assign some of his best detectives to internal affairs. Back to you.
If the other three officers are found guilty in their criminal cases, there's a chance their cases would never even go before an arbitrator with MPD.